Okay, so let's dive into the sixth week of pregnancy. It's this incredible time where, from the outside, pretty much nothing seems to be happening. But on the inside, oh, an entire world is being built, piece by tiny, microscopic piece.
You know, right now, you and your partner might be the only two people on Earth who know this secret. You might even still be looking at the test, wondering if it's really real. It's this quiet, invisible transformation that is honestly one of the most amazing parts of this whole journey.
So that's the big question, isn't it? What is really going on in there? Maybe you don't have any symptoms, or maybe you have all of them. But here's the thing. No matter how you feel, the development happening inside is precise, it's fast, and it is absolutely mind-blowing. So let's peel back the layers and take a look.
First up, let's talk about the star of the show, the embryo. It's going through such a complex construction phase, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around the fact that it's all happening on a scale smaller than a single grain of rice. This is such a cool comparison. On the left, you've got that early ultrasound. It's a little shape, a little flicker, a presence. But on the right, that's the reality of what's actually there. A curled up, incredibly complex being that's already taking form.
So the biggest event this week, hands down, is the neural tube. This is the absolute foundation of the entire central nervous system. I want you to picture a tiny flat sheet that starts to fold up and then zips itself closed right from the middle outwards. That structure, that becomes the brain and the spinal cord. It's a massive moment, and it's exactly why prenatal vitamins with folic acid are so critical right now. They're the essential building blocks for this super delicate process.
And get this, all of it, the brain, the spinal cord, the beginnings of this little person, it's all happening in an embryo that measures just 4 millimeters from top to bottom. 4 millimeters. That's about the size of a lentil. It's just incredible. And this image just shows the support systems that are already up and running. See that yellow sphere? That's the yolk sac. Think of it as the embryo's first life support pack, pumping out red blood cells and nutrients. And right there in the center, a primitive heart, which is really just a simple tube at this point, has already started beating. It's looping and folding, getting ready to form 4 chambers, and it's already pushing blood through this tiny developing body. Okay, so let's switch gears and talk about you. With all of that frantic activity happening inside, your body is starting to respond in some pretty predictable and, yeah, sometimes unpredictable ways. This is so important to hear. You might be dealing with a whole list of classic symptoms, but it is also completely 100% normal to feel, well, fantastic. Not having symptoms doesn't mean anything is wrong. So if you're feeling great, seriously, enjoy it. But for the up to 80% of women who do get hit with nausea, it can be really tough. They call it morning sickness, but as so many of you know, that's kind of a joke, right? It can strike morning, noon, or night. So what actually helps? All right, here's some really practical advice. The key is to try and keep your stomach from getting totally empty. So eating small, frequent meals can be a game changer. Sticking with bland foods, like toast or crackers, and steering clear of greasy, fatty meals can also really help calm things down. And please stay hydrated. That is so important, especially if you're actually getting sick. Now, one specific thing that studies have shown can actually work is ginger. But a quick word of warning, most of the ginger ale you buy at the store has barely any real ginger in it, so it's probably not going to do much. You're much better off trying ginger tea or ginger chews, or even cooking with some fresh ginger. And the other big one? Fatigue. That sudden hit-you-like-a-truck exhaustion is incredibly common as your body just pours energy into this huge project. Low iron can be one of the culprits, so make sure you're getting iron-rich foods like dark leafy greens, red meat, and beans. And here's a little pro tip. Vitamin C helps your body absorb iron, so having a glass of orange juice with your meal can actually make a difference. So while all this is happening on this microscopic level, it's also happening at a very specific moment in time. Let's zoom out for a second and ask, what kind of world and what kind of family will this new life be joining? Because it looks a lot different than it did even just a few decades ago. Just look at these numbers from the US. Since 1990, births to women in their late 30s are up 52%. And for women in their early 40s, that number has jumped by 65%. This trend towards having children later in life is one of the biggest shifts in modern families, and it's totally reshaping what parenthood looks like for a lot of people. And the family unit itself has really evolved. Today, about a quarter of kids live in one-parent families. That traditional stay-at-home mom model is way less common now, with almost 2/3 of mothers with young kids in the workforce. And dads are more involved than ever, with about 30% of working parents sharing childcare duties.
But with all of this change, one thing is just constant. The circumstances are different, family structures are more varied than ever, but the fundamental job of being a parent, that's timeless. It's about giving your child consistent love, loyalty, and care.
So let's just quickly recap this wild week. In just 7 days, the blueprint for the brain and the spine was not just laid down, it was sealed shut. The engine got switched on as that tiny heart started to beat, and the life support system, the yolk sac, was working overtime to provide all that crucial nourishment.
That is an unbelievable amount of progress for a being that is smaller than a ladybug. The transformation from just a cluster of cells into something you can begin to recognize is officially underway. And it just leaves you with this one burning question. If all of that can happen in just 1 week, what on earth is coming next?